What's up, class? This is Andy Schmidt presenting Technology Integration Project for eTech 562. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday night. So I've been really vested in these projects all day and really checking out everybody's ideas. Everybody's been doing really good, but just want to give you a little bit more background on me. Guy with the raspy voice. Consider this the MJ flu game, if you will, for all my sports fans out there. If not, just know that anytime you got a 5-month-old daughter, you're gonna get the exact same thing she gets. So she's a little sick right now. So that's what I'm battling with, and I apologize for all those that are listening. I'll try to make this in the 5 to 6 minute window so we can have to stop listening to me. Anyways. Yeah, my name's Andy Schmidt. I'm a men's basketball assistant coach at Texas A&M Commerce. I'm super close to getting this master's degree in my back pocket. Really excited about that. It's been a really good experience so far. As you can see, I got a shameless plug for my basketball camps this summer. So all you uh, parents with kids that want to get them out of the house, go ahead and hit this link online next to the blue arrow. Again, that has nothing to do with the project, and I hope I don't get dock points for it, but just thought I'd have a little fun. Let's talk about Tweetdeck. I'm a basketball coach, and all my players are always on their phone. They're always trying to ignore any face-to-face interaction. So the most common app they use is Twitter. They're always seeing what their favorite athletes are tweeting about, or celebrities, or whatever they use Twitter for. TweetDeck is awesome because it's the most powerful Twitter tool for real-time tracking, organizing, and engagement. You can create a custom Twitter experience that allows you to organize and build custom timelines, keep track of lists, searches, activity, and more all in one interface. Um, you can share an account with your team without sharing your password. You can maintain control over permissions at all times. It's just a really, really organized way to get Twitter up and going on your screen. So I'm going to introduce TweetDeck to everybody and talk about how that can work with my intended audience. Project goals. Number one is to educate my audience. We'll talk about that here in a minute, who that is. But really want students to understand their platform and understand how that little device in their hand can really affect in a positive or negative way their influence and their overall brand that they're creating while they're in college and in high school for those athletes. So really want to talk about integrating the technology and becoming more aware of their impact that they have, and use it for good and not bad, and not get so hung up on all the inconveniences of Twitter, but rather experienced it by using multiple timelines in one interface. So again, I am a college coach. My livelihood is 18 to 23-year-olds, give or take. So that is my intended audience. Now, if you're not a college coach, and don't automatically tune the rest of this out. If you're a high school teacher, middle school teacher, parent, you can use this application. It's unbelievable all the ways that it can be used. You can really focus in on about any number of people, about 5 to 15 if you want, and really create a list and have a up-to-date timeline of what they're talking about. Really kind of see their platform that they have. But my audience, I really want them to understand the impact they can have on their university, good or bad, and on their sport, good or bad. Because a college athlete is not the average student. They're more under the microscopic focus of the athletic director, of the coach, of the president. So one wrong tweet or series of tweets or social media engagements could really set them on a track and derail them from scholarships, opportunities to play professionally, and just really really knock them off their course. So that's my intended audience, is try to improve their social media tweeting experience. So like I talked about just a minute ago, poor timing. But if you're not a college coach, this can still be applied to any group, organization, team, school, district. For example, we'll talk more about it, but if you're a principal, you can have all your high school teachers um, on one column, on one interface, and still be able to use Twitter for your timelines, for your mentions, for your um, direct messaging, for your notifications, for breaking news. But you can also on the same screen be able to see what your teachers are talking about and who they're interacting with, and making sure that they're using Twitter for a positive experience with students, and representing your school district um, in the right manner. Uh, and again, social media is not going away anytime soon, as we all know. Um, so it's really important that apps like TweetDeck, Hoopsuite, uh, any number of these Web 2.0 ones that we've had a chance to interact with, or we're becoming more than comfortable, but we're being really familiar with them in our everyday lives. So why did I choose TweetDeck? Of course, social media is in. That's obvious, but it's more than in. It's a different language that these student athletes are using every day. So if we don't really integrate ourselves as coaches and as administrators and teachers into their social media, we're going to get lost behind in terms of how they learn, how they talk, and how they interact with one another. Um, so I love TweetDeck because on one screen you can manage more with less. Instead of me wanting to search out every single athlete I have or I have ever coached, what they're talking about, I can put it all on one list, have it all on one screen, and have it constantly up to date on my timeline, live streaming what they're talking about, and really easy to scroll down um, through it. One wrong tweet about from a player about whether it's a racial slur, or whether it's talking about they thinking they're getting wronged by a coach, or they tweet out the administration, or they don't like a teacher, they say something wrong to God forbid it, the opposite sex. Stuff like that can really set you on a bad path as a coach. So it's really important. You don't want to look at it as like Big Brother. You want to look at it more like that you're instructing and informing them on how to use Twitter in the best way possible. So that's why I love TweetDeck and why I want to talk more about it. So engagement theory is a concept that is not restricted to technology-based learning theories. I think it applies really well to TweetDeck and what I'm trying to do. It's a engagement theory in itself is a framework for technology, and its fundamental underlying ideas is that students must be meaningfully engaged in learning activities through interaction with others and worthwhile tasks. To me, that definition is spot on in terms of, like I talked about earlier, the language, the dialogue, and the vernacular that student athletes and students in general these days are doing on social media. So this theory really relates well in terms of the conceptual framework to TweetDeck. Now, the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, or the multimedia principle, states that people learn more deeply from words and pictures than from words alone. That's another reason why I like TweetDeck. You can um, up to date live see what everybody's talking about, and it adds more of a learning concept. So you can put a face to the name, and then a face to the name along with what they're talking about and what they're really concerned with today. So the cognitive theory of multimedia really its goal is to instructional media in the light of how human minds work. So that is again a spot on correlation with TweetDeck and student athletes and what they're interested in. Now for my lesson plan, the required technology is a Twitter account, or a Twitter handle like most people call it. 99% of your students are going to have this, so you can go ahead and check that off the box. They're going to use their own Twitter handle to create a TweetDeck with customized lists, and I'll change and go to a different screen here in a minute to show you how to do that. But the goal again is to understand their impact and to learn from others' mistakes. The biggest mistake people make in Twitter is emotional tweeting. So we're going to talk more about how to get rid of that with some of the advantages Tweetdeck has. So the length of time, this will take about an hour prior to the day of the lesson plan to really understand what they're needing to come in here with, full understanding. And if they haven't had a Twitter handle yet, they need to go ahead and make one. It'll be about a 30-minute in-class lesson that'll describe me talking about their lists and what I want them to do for the week. It's going to be about a 5 to 7 day project that they're working on, because I want them again to become really familiar with this application and all the advantages that it has. So explaining this in class will take about 30 minutes, but overall it's going to be about a 1 week, 5 day to 1 week experience of what they're all using further Tweetdeck. Now, before I get into the detailed lesson plan, I apologize why I escape and come down here to my Firefox. Whoops. And pull up my Tweetdeck. So as you can see, if you can follow along my mouse right here, what all I have on my Tweetdeck. Okay. Hopefully internet's working and it's live up to the date. Sorry. On the left, as you can see, is my home. This is everybody I follow, all about 1,000 followers and up to date what they're talking about. Obviously, I'm a sports guru, so as you can see, a lot of pictures and videos of athletes, basketball, AAU, high school, college, instructional. Anyways, that's what I follow. Now, here's the most important part right here. This is called my Texas A&M team list. This has all my players in a customized list, which you're allowed to add from this button over here. So I can see up to the minute what everybody's talking about. Right now, it looks like Esteban is talking about he's working on his his internship, so he's tweeting out if he was a college administrator and what he would do. So that looks like it passes well. He's obviously tweeting a lot. So let's move on from Esteban, but we can really tell. Here's a guy, Trey Seymour, talking about the basketball game going on right now. So that's encouraging. Again, another one of my players talking about LeBron. So really, here's my coach right here. I can tell, he's talking about the track championship. Here's a great example right here. One of my players is talking about how he misses his little brother. This gives me a good chance to talk with him. If I see him next, I have an advantage and I can be able to bring up, what he's on his mind, what he's thinking about. So as a coach, that really helps me out. I can really get a deeper understanding of all my players, and it really helps me keep organized. If I just had my original Twitter right here, I'd have to go in here and search for all my players. I have to come in and find him, Javon Austin, and here he is. Then I have to come to bring it up and scroll down and see all the tweets he's talking about. Do that for every player. So that's why I love TweetDeck. I can have my list right here, and not sacrifice, what else is going on. My notifications, I've got that, as you can see, in full swing. I've got my messaging going on, any activity that's taking place. I also have other lists in terms of my my college friends, what they're talking about. I've got other lists for them. So it's a really organized interface all in one. This is a neat thing I can do over here with my scheduled tweets. So that's kind of an overview, as you can see, of TweetDeck. So let's get back to the presentation at hand. So again, detailed lesson plan, getting back on track. I want them to, number one, before they come in, reflect and think about all their emotional tweets. So again, my intended audience is my team, 18 to 22-year-olds. Research shows that they have an attention span of about 9 seconds. A goldfish has an attention span of 10 seconds. So that's just the millennials that we work with. So getting them to reflect and think about all the emotional tweets they have.